Is the Innova Mako 3 the best beginner-friendly mid-range? Well, it flies pretty good. Even in their typically overstable Halo Star plastic, it's surprisingly workable. But what makes one disc more beginner-friendly than another? Let's find out, because the disc is in the details. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and today's video is sponsored by My Disc Coach. More about them in just a bit. If you're watching this video and you're interested in beginner-friendly discs, then I'm going to assume you're at least a little bit new to disc golf. In which case, congratulations on finding disc golf and for finding this channel, where we can help you learn more about discs through comparisons and analysis. Today though, we're going to dive deep into the Mako 3, showing you what it's good for, why it's good at it, and why a mid-range like it is great for your bag. But every player is different, and while the Mako 3 is great for most, it might not work for you, so we'll make sure to suggest some alternatives as well. First things first though, what is a mid-range? Well, a mid-range is exactly what it sounds like, a disc that fits in the middle both in terms of speed, control, and distance. It has more distance potential than a putter because it has a more aerodynamic wing shape, but likely won't fly as far as a fairway or distance driver for the same reason. On the flip side of distance, we also have to consider control. Drivers can fly far, but they are harder to control, and you sacrifice some accuracy in exchange for distance. Putters, on the other hand, fly slowly, and they don't move as far left or right during their flight, which makes them more controllable and accurate. A mid-range disc therefore fits right in the middle, blending both distance and control. This is one of the things that makes throwing mid-ranges so important, particularly for newer players, because in order to achieve the distance potential from a faster disc like a fairway driver or distance driver, you have to throw it faster. In fact, most newer players will tell you that their mid-range discs fly just as far, if not farther, than their drivers. So why have we chosen to single out the Mako 3? Well, firstly, it's made by Innova. Innova are one of the biggest manufacturers in disc golf, with over 166 approved discs as of February 2023. Nearly 100 of those are currently in production. And the Mako 3 is just one of 22 mid-ranges currently available from Innova. Now, sometimes throwing a different disc can help change your game, but usually the issue is with the archer, not the arrow. That's where today's sponsor comes in, My Disc Coach. My Disc Coach is ready to help you unleash your disc golf potential with personalized video coaching. My Disc Coach is simple. No signing up for a monthly subscription, no watching video after video to see if one addresses your specific form issues. It's as simple as sending in a clip and getting professional feedback in a couple days. I submitted a clip of my own backhand form in slow motion to My Disc Coach that I recorded on my phone. And in just 2 days, I got a detailed video response with annotation, explaining what I could improve, along with some tips and drills on how I could make those improvements. My coach pointed out that the timing of my left shoulder is off. It's coming in and taking up space in the power pocket too early, forcing me to use too much arm on my throws, and possibly contributing to the elbow pain that I have. And if you've watched this channel at all over the last year and a half, you've heard me talk about the issues I've had with my elbow. They also gave me some examples of proper technique and suggestions for drills that I could use to make the changes I need for my form. Whether you're brand new to disc golf or looking to take down your local A tier, individual throw tips from My Disc Coach can help you level up your game. Head over to mydisccoach.com and get your throw tip today. Huge thank you to My Disc Coach for supporting our channel and sponsoring today's video. Now, back to the Mako 3. Another reason we singled out the Mako 3 is that most disc golfers start their journey with Innova. And there's a good reason for that. No other brand in disc golf is available in more brick-and-mortar locations than Innova. Whether it's big box stores like Dick's Sporting Goods, other sporting goods stores, or even gas stations near disc golf courses. Chances are, if you're near a disc golf course, there are Innova discs for sale somewhere nearby. In fact, that's how I got started. Back in 2002, I was a freshman in high school, and my friend and I would ride our bikes all over our hometown of Westerville, Ohio. We rode across the dam at Hoover Reservoir, saw these strange metal baskets with chains on the other side, but didn't really think much of them until we stopped at a gas station for a drink and saw a bunch of discs. One of those discs was an old Innova DX Aviar. The stamp had a picture of that same strange basket on it and a disc hitting the chains. Now that we knew what the baskets were for, we grabbed a couple discs and went back across the dam, and the rest is history. In fact, I still have all 4 of those discs I got from that gas station back in 2002. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who kept their original discs, so leave a comment below and tell us what your first discs were. Anyways, let's talk more about the Mako 3. The Innova Mako 3 was approved by the Professional Disc Golf Association, or PDGA, in 2017. The PDGA has to certify all discs before they can be used in sanctioned tournament play, which partially explains why the Mako 3 isn't called the Mako, because there's already a disc with that name. In fact, Innova also makes it, and it was approved back in 2009. The Mako 3 is just an updated version of the Mako. Innova explains on their website the origins of the number 3 coming behind the name of some of their discs, like the Rock 3, Leopard 3, and T-Bird 3, among a few others. This whole 3 thing comes from the Rock 3, because the Rock 3 was actually the third rock that was designed, after the original Ontario Rock and subsequent Rancho Cucamonga Rock. What made the Rock 3 different is that it was a lower profile and more torque resistant. And as a result, when Innova needed to make a lower profile, more torque resistant version of their discs for higher arm speed players, they simply added a 3. Here's hoping we never get a Destroyer 3 in the future. That would be nuts. And if you're a newer player and you don't know what a Destroyer is, let's keep it that way until your mid-ranges don't fly farther than your drivers. Now, you may have noticed on all of these discs there are these numbers. Disc golf manufacturers assign their discs flight numbers, both for marketing purposes and also to give players some idea of how the disc was designed to fly. And while you shouldn't take those flight numbers entirely at their word, you can use them as a rough guide of how discs are designed to fly compared to one another from a specific manufacturer. And if you aren't familiar with flight numbers at all, here's a super quick explanation. The first number is speed, which tells you both how fast the disc flies and how fast you need to throw it to get the desired flight. Next is glide, the tendency of a disc to stay aloft during flight. Bigger number, more glide. The last 2 numbers describe the 2 phases of flight. Turn, or high-speed turn, occurs during the first phase of flight, followed by fade, or low-speed fade, occurring in the second phase of flight. Negative numbers get more turn, while higher positive numbers get more fade. Discs with very low turn are commonly described as understable, while discs with no turn and high fade are described as overstable. A disc with not much of either is considered stable or neutral, like the Mako 3, which is rated at 5 speed, 5 glide, 0 turn, and 0 fade. Another thing that can have a significant impact on both the feel and flight of a disc is the plastic. These days, Innova makes their discs in a huge variety of plastics. And this is where flight numbers start to get confusing, because typically when you change plastics, you change flight characteristics. Here's what I mean. About a year ago, we tested a bunch of discs in different plastics, including the Innova Firebird, which is rated at 9304, which would make us expect it to be a very overstable fairway driver. Lots of fade. On a right-hand backhand, it should aggressively fade out of the air. But in the 2 plastics we had, DX, a stiff base plastic, and Star, a top-of-the-line premium plastic, they were completely different. So with that in mind, we have 3 different Mako 3s. One is in a sort of mid-grade base plastic called XT. Another is Innova's premium Star plastic, and one in a slightly more expensive variant of Star called Halo Star. And here are some throws with each of those plastics thrown on the same angle. And incredibly, there's almost no difference between them. The Mako 3 is designed to be comfortable in the hand and comfortable on the course, with little turn and little fade. But depending on how you use it, you can actually create different shot shapes. For example, if you put it on a slight anhyzer angle, like this, it gently holds that angle, allowing you to create a different shot shape. If you put it on a little more of a hyzer angle, like this, you can again get a different type of flight, moving in a different direction. But in all of these examples, we have a disc that is smooth, controllable, and predictable, which is excellent for newer players. Instead of worrying about what disc to throw, you can start to learn about manipulating angles. Because if you can do that well with a Mako 3 or any other neutral midrange, you can eventually apply those skills to any other disc. Now, the Mako 3 is a popular straight midrange for many players, but maybe it's not for you. So what are some good alternatives? Well, from most beginner-friendly to least, the Divergent Discs Capre. Divergent discs tends to be inexpensive, lighter weight, and designed for beginners. This is an excellent place to start for an excellent price. You can get their discs between $8 and $11, compared to $20 or more for Innova's Star Plastic. The Prodigy M4 is fairly well known for being more understable than its flight numbers suggest, which could make it a good beginner-friendly option, especially if you get it in a lighter weight plastic. The Latitude 64 Fuse has a little more glide and tends to have slightly more turn than a Mako 3, making it very good for beginners. Similarly, the Discmania Origin flies really far for a midrange and also tends to be more understable than advertised, excellent for a beginner. These last two alternatives for the Mako 3 are possibly less beginner-friendly, but comparable alternatives. The Discmania MD1 is basically the same disc, but in their C-line plastic, it tends to add some overstability, while the Discraft Buzz is used by professional players as a straight midrange, making it a little less beginner-friendly. If you're ready to level up your game with a controllable neutral midrange, then head over to sixsideddiscs.com or the link in the description where you can find the Innova Mako 3, most of these alternatives, our beginner mystery box, and much more. What do you think of the Mako 3 or some of these alternatives? Leave a comment down below. And also comment below if you'd like to see more beginner-focused videos like this one. Thanks again to My Disc Coach for sponsoring today's video. Get your throw tip today at mydisccoach.com. For Six Sided Discs, I'm Greg. We'll see you in the next one. If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or supporting us on Patreon. Your support makes this content possible.